What are the 3 big mistakes that interfaith couples make that could be putting their relationship in jeopardy? Hello, Seeker. First, I don't want you to make a mistake, mistaking that I would judge anybody for being in an interfaith relationship just because I'm a rabbi and some rabbis frown upon Jews dating and marrying non-Jews and vice versa. That's not where I'm coming from at all. I made this video because of my own experience in interfaith relationships and my experience as a rabbi working with couples over the last couple of years in a synagogue that has lots of successful interfaith families. So I'm offering what I've learned to you to help put you on a path that keeps your relationship safe. And if you have particular questions you want to talk to me about personally, hit me up on social. But for right now, I'm going to give you 3 big mistakes that interfaith couples make sometimes that could be jeopardizing their relationship. We're going to count down. Number 3, the couple doesn't have a safe zone. What do I mean by safe zone? A safe zone is a place, time, or context for asking questions, asking each other honest questions about your upbringing, about your religion, about your experience with God, about your lack of experience with God. Being able to ask these in a respectful way and not feel judged by the question or not feel insulted. Really being able to talk about something that's very important to each of you, or maybe it's not that important, but you should be able to talk to each other without being like overly sensitive about the question that people ask. Now, why is the lack of a safe zone a problem? Well, if you don't create a safe space, your tactic for this subject might just be avoidance. We don't talk about this because it's never come up. We don't have kids yet, or we're not really thinking about how we're going to raise our kids. We're not really thinking about our own relationship with God, what we do on Saturday or Sunday. This hasn't come up. But if you don't create a context for it to come up and people feel comfortable talking about it, you're going to stay ignorant about each other's faith experience. You're going to stay ignorant about each other's cultural experience. And when you're going forward in a relationship from a place of ignorance, when difficult questions come up, you don't have the basis for talking about those questions in a safe way. One of you could really strongly offend the other without even trying, or be offended. And if you avoid the topic or don't make time to have this stuff out in the open, this could lead to unresolved issues that flare up when you're fighting about something else. How do we establish a safe zone? Well, you could just have a conversation that says, when we talk about religion, we're going to be respectful about it. When we talk about our family traditions, we're going to have some give and take, and we're going to be calm about it. Or you can plan an evening out just to talk about this one thing. Another nice way is you can take a class together, or each take a class in your own faith, and that class, the other partner can ask questions in the context of a class, and it's not like you feel like you're being queried personally, and that could make things feel a lot safer for you. The number 2 mistake that couples make that could be jeopardizing their relationship is they avoid the Sunday school question. What is the Sunday school question? It's my code for how will we raise our children? If you're in a couple that has children in their future or in their present, and some couples have it in their past, the question's going to come up. What tradition are we going to pass on to our kids? How are they going to be raised? Are they going to Sunday school at the church? Are they going to Hebrew school at the synagogue? Are they going to both? Are we going to take turns, 1 week on, 1 week off? Now, why is it a problem when you avoid this Sunday school question? Here's the thing. If you don't consciously talk about in a safe zone, let's say, how the kids will be raised, then when you have these kids and they ask the question, what am I? You're not going to have a good answer. Or my friends at school are going to catechism. Why don't I do that? Or my friends at school are going to Hebrew school or religious school at their temple. Why don't I do that? And then you'll be put on the spot and say, well, I don't know, maybe we'll try. And if you've avoided these questions, then again, that could lead to an explosive conflict between you and your partner, God forbid, in front of the kids. And you have to have this argument over whose religion wins in the household. And that's something that can be hard on your relationship. It can certainly be hard on your kids, which again is hard on your relationship. And here's one of the worst things that can happen. If you avoid this because it's uncomfortable, and you default to raising your kids with nothing, you're depriving them of either tradition. You're raising them essentially that something that was really important to you is just not going to be a part of their life. And you're depriving them of a great gift that you can give them as a parent. How do we avoid the mistake of avoiding the Sunday school question? Well, just like setting up a safe zone, it's something you have to have a conscious conversation about. Get together, talk through how you want to raise your kids, if that's something that's in your destiny, and so you will have talked about it. Maybe you don't raise them with anything because you've decided that's the path, you're the parent, you get to do that. Maybe you have a conscious plan for this is the schedule that they're going to go to different classes. This is how we're going to raise them to see us and our families. Another option is pick one. Sometimes the context is that one parent has a stronger attachment to their faith and traditions than the other. And the advantage of picking one is that it gives the child a complete identity rather than half of two different identities. Sometimes if you put that kid in a position of feeling half this and half that, if they decide that they like one better and they choose that path, psychologically, they may feel like they're choosing between you. They might feel like they're choosing, if I choose this religion of this parent, that must mean that I love the other parent less, and no kid should be put in that position. And finally, the number one mistake that interfaith couples make that could be jeopardizing their relationship, they haven't found their own lost treasure. What do I mean by lost treasure? I mean, one or both partners don't fully understand or appreciate the faith that they came from. They never really learned about it, or they learned about it until bar mitzvah or confirmation or whatever, and then checked out because it's time for soccer. Got my bar mitzvah done, never again. More common than you might think. Maybe they never really learned why their faith or their family traditions are relevant to their life today. And so it's kind of fallen by the wayside. Why is this a problem? Because somebody who doesn't know where his own treasure is buried may feel unsure or on a back foot or insecure in the context of an interfaith relationship. You may feel that your partner's faith, while great for them, is not for you, but you really don't have something to compare that to. You don't have that same strong connection, and you feel in a weaker position in that relationship. And relationships are strongest when both partners feel secure in themselves, secure in their own identity, secure in where they're coming from, whatever path the couple is forging together. So if not having found your lost treasure is a problem, how do we fix it? I think the best way is for each of you to make an effort to understand your own tradition. Make that a conscious exercise where you take a look at your traditions, you take a look at your religion, the family religion that you were raised with, and you get to know your own background. I would suggest that you take a class. Actually, I would suggest that you take two classes. Each of you find a class that is kind of an introduction to your own religion, and then take that class as a couple. That way, both of you can dig up your lost treasure. You can see what your heritage really has to offer. The other one can see why it's valuable for you. And my experience with students when I teach a class like this is they are blown away with how valuable their own faith is that they didn't know about, how relevant it can be to their daily life. It's an eye-opening, awakening experience for both members of the couple, and it gives you guys something to talk about. It creates that safe space that we were talking about in problem number 3. It also gives you some of the information that you're going to need when talking about the Sunday school question, as I mentioned in part 2. If you don't have access to a class, it could be as simple as getting a good book, a good overview book, but I think there's something unique about the class experience where you go for a number of sessions. It's kind of like a really geeky date night, and it's a commitment that you make over time to doing something as a couple that teaches each other about what is most valuable to you on the inside. And how can that be a bad thing? If you've watched this far in the video, I really appreciate your sticking it out with me. This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. And I'll make one more offer. I actually teach an Introduction to Judaism class here at Burbank Temple, Emmanuel. And if you'd like more information on that class, click on the link below. I'll tell you about the class. You'll get to know a little bit more about me and how we can start learning together soon if that's the right solution for you. And I'll tell you, if if you sign up for my class as a couple, there's actually a couples discount, and you'll be in good company because there are lots of interfaith couples in that class. So enough about me. I just want to thank you for watching. Let me know if you thought this video was helpful, and until next time, shalom.